All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a brand new chapter of One Punch Man. This is also going to be my very first stream with my new PC setup. So, if there's anything going on with, like audio or anything of that nature, please let me know and I'll adjust it so that way future sessions will be properly taken care of. And I almost forgot to grab my phone. Give me a sec. 1 second in the second. Because I still need to get used to being able to have multiple screens up on one display. So that way I can have... Actually, I wonder, can I do it like this? No, I don't think I can. I'll worry about it later. Let's go ahead and get started already, shall we? Yo, peoples! Kyushu92 here. Welcome back to One Punch Man. In the last chapter, we had Blue, saying that, oh, it was so difficult to defeat this one monster. And then we have these other monsters assaulting these other places and the Heroes Associations, the executives, mainly the people that waste no time trying to save themselves because they have luxurious bunkers. All this stuff that's happening. They decide, it's time for us to retreat, so let's go to our own safety bunker. Let's not worry about all the civilians that are literally paying for our lavish and luxurious lifestyle. Let's just go to our private bunkers, and then they can take care of themselves. Sitch, being the best person to pave the future of the Heroes Association, opens those up so that civilians can get in those executive bunkers first, and then just and then has all these other execs who were so high and mighty and selfish enough to think of themselves first. He said, yeah, I opened up those bunkers up on the far side for the people who are already over there. We got one that's closer. What? What do you mean? Meanwhile, McCoy is taking all of this information. Still need to brace up my webcam. That's the reason why it's shaking. McCoy is taking this time to basically just be chill and also get all this information that he can get over to Neo Heroes because, double agent. And then we have Suika, who's steadily fighting Machine God Mirror. Machine God Mirror. Machine God Mirror. And when it looks like she's getting its attention away from, the people and everything, apparently... Hey, Holster, good to see you. And it's a good thing. It's good that chat is appearing correctly over off to the side. But I do need to adjust how far over it is because it does not need to be that far over, so I'll adjust it later. We have Machine God Mirror going up against Suika, and Suika looks like she's leading it off, but then it goes like, oop, my hand slip, and throws one of the light orbs towards the residential area of the Heroes Association. Until Spermatozoon and Pochi just appear out of nowhere. So now we get to see what happens when Pochi and Spermatozoon tune in with Punch 228 Drunken Tiger. Once again, let me know how my audio sounds. But yeah. And then we have the executives who are watching this going, look down there! Heroes are rushing to the scene! And we have people running. We have people running to the Heroes Association. I do need to adjust where my mic is because it's also kind of blocking a little bit of the manga page because my monitor is twice as big as my laptop was. But we have one of these execs going, heroes are rushing to the scene! And we have heroes rushing to the Heroes Association, but I honestly believe these are the same heroes that were complaining earlier about why their hero names weren't as good. And that... Hold on. So these heroes are running in, and we have Sitch going, I never issued a summons. And McCoy is looking, still smoking his cigar, going, huh, those wimps. And then we get Spermatozoon going,
Poachy, I filched some high-grade beef. Scarf it down.
And Poachy starts eating the meat. And it shows Machine God Mirror just opening. Well, no, it's really Poachy who starts opening fire on this monster, and Suika's looking like,
reinforcements?
And then she braces up and she rushes. She rushes Machine God Mirror.
Now's my chance.
But she gets sideswiped by him, like in an instant, like just straight up hit in her midsection. And her eyes almost wide over completely. And she just gets sent flying into the distance into like a convenience store that happens to be in a tunnel for this entire association building. And she just lands in there and she just crashed straight through the entire store, going,
That clinker.
She's looking, going,
That clinker.
And she spits out blood, but she also looks like she's on the verge of passing out.
It's seriously dangerous.
And it shows Machine God Mirror just floating towards her, multiple light orbs in hand.
Are all monsters this tough? That thing's gonna kill me if I don't do something. As long as I'm sober, I can't make the most of the dark corporal art.
If she's sober, she can't make the most of this fighting style she has? Wait, what?
As long as I'm sober, I can't make the most of the dark corporeal art.
And then she sees a drink next to her called Power Splash. Can Extreme 2 liquor, carbonated, juice 9%. And then Machine God Mirror just goes, I hope you're still alive. Let's take it slow until Class S heroes arrive. And while he's saying this, you know, the energy rounds from Poachy just rain down because Machine God has already made his way into the tunnel itself. Now, Poachy is firing, but it's not making it into the tunnel as far as where Machine God actually is. And he's looking, going, I detest such noise, and aims at Poachy and starts to turn his arms like into like a corkscrew-like fashion. Why won't it let me see my chat? There we go. Take all the time you need to the chapter isn't going anywhere. Suika language, she has to be drunk. Are we sure this isn't Lou from Sakamoto days? Like, I'm thinking that too. But he turns all of his arms and it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 arms that he just turns into like a corkscrew-like fashion. And then he starts spinning them. And while he's spinning them, preparing to fire on Poachy, Suika has already drunk a whole bunch of these cans, because I see several of them. And she goes, Dark corporeal, flying dragon fist! And all of a sudden, she just blitzes Machine God Mirror with multiple strikes before he can even react to it. It's an entire panel, an entire double spread panel of her just completely landing multiple hits on him. And Machine God just gets thrown out of the barrier onto a nearby railway that extends into the Heroes Association still. And he looks like he's about to land in front of a train that's already coming through. And when he rights himself and gets on top, Suika is once again just rushing him. And just, he can barely keep his stance as he's like digging his claws into the top of the subway, and then his hands go inside, I guess either looking to grab some people. No, he's just got his arms inside of the subway car to, I guess, hold on. And then Suika is swaying like she's using drunken fists. And Machine God is just staring at her going, her body temperature is rising due to alcohol. Is she getting desperate? And Suika is just standing there swaying, and Machine God just goes, "Heh, you drunk. Now you die." Because it shows that he's preparing orbs directly underneath her feet because he's extended her arms along the roof. But underneath the roof where she's standing and preparing to blast where she's standing, now you die. But then Suika jumps up because in the blink of an eye, she senses that she's coming up on the tunnel. She jumps up and she plants herself on the wall as the train itself speeds past, allowing her to basically be in a perfect spot for her to punch Machine God, and he's surprised, going, "What?" And in an instant, she literally uses it on the last panel of this chapter. She uses the momentum and speed of the subway car to essentially shatter his entire face. That's smart. You would think that someone who's drunk wouldn't have that sort of thought in mind, but no. This drunken state has made it so that she basically used the very thing he was using to hang on to literally against him. And now his face is shattered. Got hit so hard, you see the impact going straight through his head, and the front of his head just basically being dented in and cracked. And that's the end of the chapter. I will say, given the way that the last chapter ended, and this chapter only had, 16 pages? This was way more action-oriented towards Suika than I was thinking. I thought that, Spermatozoon and Pochi were going to actually do something in this chapter aside from, open fire on this monster. But no, they were literally just the opening act, and the rest of it was Suika. Now, mind you, McCoy is thinking those heroes that are on their way, which is also the same group that Saitama was standing with, even though, Saitama has no real care or reason to be around them. Saitama was also with that group that was outside because they were the ones who were screaming at the top of their lungs for the Heroes Association to change their names. Mind you, given the fact that miles of distance exist, those execs were never going to hear him. But even Sitch is confused because he's all like, I never issued a summons, meaning that this is the same group that Saitama is a part of. Which means that Saitama is literally right there at the Heroes Association. And after this, if Machine God Mirror is still alive and still functioning, and Suika's not able to continue, then Saitama could have a hand in stopping the attack on the Heroes Association. Mind you, McCoy looks at this situation like, oh, these weaklings are here? Huh. Whatever. But Suika tries to fight Machine God, gets swatted away instantly. The first hit she got from him literally caused her eyes to almost bug out of her skull. That's how hard she got hit. Then she got slammed into a nearby convenience store and realized just how dangerous he is, but also said, as long as I'm sober, I can't make the most of the dark corporeal art. Meaning that the most powerful version of Suika, the strongest version of Suika, is literally when she's drunk. So when Machine God rolls up, he's all like, let's take it slow until Class S heroes arrive, because he's here to take down King and any other Class S heroes. Now, we spoke about this already. But all of this seems like a ploy to either draw out the Class S heroes or to make them tired and cause Neo Heroes' arrival at any location to be seen as a godsend, therefore increasing the popularity and public view and public opinion of Neo Heroes versus the Hero Association. So with him saying let's take it slow until Class S heroes arrive, he means King and any other Class S heroes themselves. And when Pochi continues to open fire around him, he's all like, I detest such noise. And he's preparing to literally fire a massive torrent of light explosive light orbs directly at Pochi, which would probably invite Saitama's ire if anything happened to his dog. But Suika comes in with Dark Corporeal Flying Dragon Fist and just unleashes a Tekken 8 extended combo against Machine God, sending him flying into a nearby subway. Then the fight continues as it looks like she's still... Now, my thing is, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking like she's jumping on to fight him, but the position that she's falling at makes it seem like she just fell onto the train and she's just literally haphazardly bouncing along the train, which would seem more likely given the fact that she's intoxicated. So it looks like she just falls onto the subway train. And Machine God is holding on as he stretches his arms inside of one of the passenger cars. Mind you, people inside are unsurprisingly screaming and running. And she's just standing there, swaying back and forth. Mind you, I did not pay attention to the back part of the wall that's coming up, which is a low-hanging wall that only the subway can get through if you're inside. I didn't see that part. I didn't notice that. I didn't pay attention to that. And she's just standing there, and she's just got her hands, and she's just swaying. Machine God is all like, her body temperature's increased because she's intoxicated. Is she getting desperate or something? And mind you, not only is the wall getting closer to Suika, but Machine God is also preparing to blast her from underneath with his hands that he has underneath the subway roof. But before that happens, she jumps up, and then just uses that same wall to brace herself, and then because that is such a crazy assist to do that. Oh, I probably won't be able to get to him quickly enough. So let me use this wall to bring him to me. This reminds me of that one the subway scene from the Wolverine, where Logan literally is fighting people on top of a bullet train. And there's one person that's left, and he sees this person, and he just uses the speed of which they're going to basically essentially jump up in the air and just fly straight towards this person in order to kill him. It literally reminds me of that, except here, Suika is using the wall to make that person come to her, and then she just punches Machine God directly in the face. Now, echoing what Halster has said, and I'm pretty sure I didn't say this at all, this does not necessarily mean that Machine God Mirror is dead or defeated, because if he is purely mechanical, then I would not be surprised if his head is not even the central processing unit for his body and is probably just something that allows him to see from one part of his body, and he can still operate even without a head, like a Magna Droid from Star Wars. But getting hit directly in his face like this is the most and first official amount of damage we've seen from him since this fight started. And it also shows that Suika is way stronger than we initially thought. I thought she was strong when she defeated that one robot in just a couple of moves, and then the other people who were scouting her said like, oh, she's strong. She has what it takes, and her potential could possibly go even higher than this. I thought she was strong then. Now finding out that her Dark Corporeal Fist its full power fully manifests when she's intoxicated, she is way stronger. Now, in terms of how strong she is in comparison to Suryu, remains to be seen. But this is this is actually Suika's first major step towards being recognized as stronger than Class A. Because even though they put her in Class A, it was Class A, right? Even though they put her in Class A, this will probably keep eyes on her. Either way, it's impressive with Suika, whether this is her quick thinking, despite being drunk, or it's just how good her instinct and reflexes are. I honestly think that this is just her drunken instincts. This is just like how Rock Lee in Naruto, when he got intoxicated, his reflexes were to the point where he could literally dodge people in his sleep. Literally unconscious. So I think it's that. We've seen this sort of reflexes and quick thinking before. Rock Lee versus Kimimoto, where he got intoxicated and everything that he was doing when he was sober was ineffective. All of a sudden, his unpredictability and strength was so high that Kimimoto actually had to, step things up a bit. So I honestly think this is what you call anime drunken. This is what you would call anime drunken instincts. Yo, Ogata, good to see you. I didn't set this to 1:30, did I? I do believe I set this to 1 o'clock. Oftentimes I see you here early, Ogata, but I'm messing with you though. I'm glad you made it. We just finished the chapter, and we're just talking about Suika and her dark corporeal fist actually landing a substantial blow against Machine God Mirror. And some of these panels were really drawn well. Like, can we just acknowledge the amount of effort that goes into showcasing a multi-hit combo across 2 whole pages? It is quite a common shared trait amongst characters that have a drunken state for combat, right? But one thing I really love about One Punch Man is how so much detail goes into character designs. Like with Machine God Mirror, you have no doubt that his entire body is completely chromed out due to the shading and the lighting that has been put on these images. And mind you, this is created by people. This ain't AI. This is created by people with actual skill. This is the reason, and there's so much detail, like her just laying in a heap because she got knocked into a convenience store, and the dark view of Machine God Mirror walking towards her, and he's just complete silhouette, but everything is just dark but there's a lighted background to fully encapsulate just how dangerous of a foe he is, just from a visual standpoint. I feel like this is a really well-drawn set of pages. Like, it's really good. Like, the multi-arm panel, I think it's very good. Her using Dark Corporeal Flying Dragon Fist against him, I think those are a fantastic set of well-drawn pages. And the page where she uses the wall to brace herself so she can punch Machine God in the face. Mind you, he done dug his hands inside of the subway to keep himself steady, but she just used that against him and just shattered his face. I think overall this has been a very well-drawn action chapter. And also, is this the first chapter we're getting in May? Yeah, it's the first chapter we're getting in May, too. Nah, it was my bad. I forgot there was a chapter today. Oh, it's all good. This is the reason why I check on Wednesday mornings, just to be sure. Because otherwise I wouldn't be doing a reaction, but you know how it is. The art is one of the more consistently phenomenal things when it comes to One Punch Man. If only that same level of quality could extend to the anime. Wouldn't that be nice? But overall, I thought this was a nice chapter. Good amount of action, and I want to speak about the choreography as well. The choreography of this fight with just Suika alone was very well done, such as her fighting style and the way, and I feel like when it comes to her fighting, I feel like it probably wouldn't be as cool if Murata's art wasn't this good for the series as a whole. Because it really sells just how fast people are, how strong people are. If these drawings weren't as good, then these moments wouldn't have as much of an impact. If they weren't as detailed to really showcase just what's happening. Like, Murata could go for, like, simplistic ways of showcasing impact damage and how thorough things are being broken. Because with Murata, you literally will get pages. You will legit get pages that it has an entirely highly detailed pieces of, like, say an explosion happens and a building gets blown in half. You get individual pieces, like the art from Sakamoto Days, which is another illusion as well. The art of Sakamoto Days would show individual pieces being broken apart to really showcase just how destroyed something is. Here in One Punch Man, when it comes to people fighting or using fighting moves, they tend to be detailed enough so you really truly see how much strength and speed and power is being put behind the attacks of characters in this series. If it isn't Saitama, when he's getting serious, mind you, his simple punches, they're more than enough. But when people do things like before the pages got redrawn and Empty Void went outside of the world's dimension and then proceeded to cut an entire country in half, like literally leave an entire ravine by just slicing through the world itself, that was an incredibly detailed scene. Or when Saitama and Gaara were fighting each other, those were very well drawn scenes as well. So moments like this, and I digress. I really do. I'm sorry. I'm just talking about drawings right now. But it really works. It really works for this series. This works because it is Morita. I mean, no disrespect when saying this, but if someone like Oda drew this, I don't think it'd have that same impact that we have here. Still remember the Saitama versus Tornado fight? That fight was amazing. It was so well drawn as well, just to really showcase that Tornado was willing to destroy an entire section of land in order to beat Saitama. But it was so well drawn too. But yeah, you're right though. And here's the thing though. The reason why this art style works so well is because it is the drawer, Morita, and also because it's the story One Punch Man. Like, I don't see this art style working well with One Piece. I don't see it working well with Sakamoto Days, even though Sakamoto Days has a way with images being drawn where it's like, I wouldn't call it ink blotty, but they have like extended dark border lines for their characters. But I feel like it's really the art. It's frankly, when it comes to chapters like this, it is the art style that elevates the storytelling for these chapters. That's the reason why it works so well. Because I can keep looking at some of these images, like her using Dark Corporeal Flying Dragon Fist and just hitting Machine God Mirror over and over again on this double spread panel, just like bam, 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 just like over and over. And you can, even though it's a still image, it's drawn in a way where you just instantly think of the motion itself happening while it's going, even in anime form. That's how good this is the reason why I love reading One Punch Man. Because not only is the story good, but the art just elevates the story as well. That's the reason why I like it so much. You nailed it, Q. That's what I was trying to say, but you put it in a much better way. Oh, it's all good. But yeah, the reason why this is good and the reason why this art style works so well is because it's Morita and because it works for One Punch Man. Because you can't expect like the art style of Bleach to work with like the fight scenes of One Piece. You can't expect the art style of Naruto to work well with I don't know, Gachiakuta. You can't expect the art style of One Punch Man. Let's say, you can't expect the art style of One Punch Man to work well with Fire Force. Because their distinct art styles help tell the story. So that's the reason why. Sure, you can look at Morita and say like, oh, he's incredibly detailed. I still go back to that double spread panel of the ship of Boros in like the first couple of volumes and just how it shows you all the interconnecting hallways of the ship itself literally took up both pages of that particular chapter. And I'm like, someone drew this. Someone took the time to draw all of these interlocking hallways on this spaceship and then put it on a page. I still think about how long that must have taken in order for that to be conveyed. And then it's like, this isn't like the only chapter where we get highly detailed images such as that. So not only was this a good chapter in terms of like where the story is going, but hold on. Not only is this a good chapter in terms of driving the story forward and also showcasing the strength of Suika, but also it's a good chapter because it is by far one of the most visually appealing chapters I've seen in a minute. Mind you, I'm not going to say tornado flattening and completely turning a city into sand isn't visually appealing, but it's not, it's just basically that. It's just basically that. This is a visually appealing chapter, and I liked everything about it. However, it still remains to be seen if this one singular punch from Suika directly into the face of Machine God Mirror is enough to actually put this monster out of commission, or if it can function like a Magna Droid and still keep going even though its head has been heavily damaged. So we'll have to wait until the next chapter. And seeing as how, hold on, how many days do we have left? How many Wednesdays? We only got 2. There's an extra oomph feeling with the art in this chapter? Yeah, there's an extra oomph feeling. So we got 2 more Wednesdays for May. Oh no, I know exactly what you mean, Holster. Yeah, you definitely feel there's an extra bit of sauce put into this particular chapter, especially the double spread panel of Suika unleashing her art. Just, you see that there was some extra detail in there, because he didn't have to include the after images of every single spot where she landed a hit on him. He didn't have to do that. Like, there's one, she even included the parts where you don't even see Suika's face included in the scene. You just see the part of her that is actually extended in a way of hitting Machine God the first time, and then hitting him the second time, and then all the other hits, and it shows you exactly where those hits correlate with the different versions of different after images of her going across the entire way, just unleashing all of these hits over and over again. I could look at this double spread panel all day. I mean, mind you, I won't, but Halster's right. There is an extra set of oomph here for the chapter. Now, mind you, I spent quite a good deal talking about how good this chapter looks. Now, the thing that has me curious, though, for the story is the fact that the heroes who had an issue with their names are now heading back to the Heroes Association, with presumably Saitama in tow. And McCoy doesn't really put much thought into them being able to do anything, because he pretty much probably knows exactly who they are, and also knows that they're not S-rank heroes or anyone that could pose a threat to his plans. But if Saitama is with them, if he's still with them, it's going to be bad news for him, because when Saitama gets involved, no monster has ever survived. At least in a fight with Saitama, no monster has survived. So if Saitama gets involved and starts fighting any monsters that show up here at the Heroes Association, just in case Machine God is still alive, then McCoy's plans of having Neo Heroes come by the Heroes Association in order to aid them will go up in smoke. So if Saitama is here, and he joins in the fight, and he finishes the fight, just in case Suika isn't able to, then McCoy's plans of making the Neo Heroes look good in front of the Heroes Association is going to go up in smoke. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see for the next chapter. But overall, this was a very good one. And that's all I got. I feel like I've said more than enough, just strictly speaking, just talking about the art a whole bunch. But story-wise, if Saitama shows up at the Heroes Association, then nothing is going to be able to destroy the association because he's there. So we're going to have to wait and see what's going to happen in the next chapter. Or either one or two things will happen in the next chapter. One, we either cut to the heroes, those extra heroes themselves, making their way to the Heroes Association after we see what effect Suika has left on Machine God Mirror. And then we see things escalate, possibly, leading to Saitama's eventual intervention. Or we cut away from the Heroes Association and go back to the other heroes who are still dealing with the monsters that supposedly feel like they're not dead yet. Because remember, we have Tank Top Master and Flashy Flash going up against that one smoke monster, and while Flashy Flash managed to shatter its body into many pieces, smoke is still filling the city, meaning that that fight is not truly fully over if the smoke is still there. So either we do that, deal with Machine God Mirror, and then continue on from there, or we cut away from the Heroes Association and go back to the other heroes who are still dealing with monsters. Either one of those two, but we'll have to see. Come in just at the end, but I have to say hello. Oblatan, it's all good, it's all good. Yeah, I don't think they're going to help much. If anything, I worry they may be a hindrance in terms of their boycott of wanting better names. Oh, I know they're not going to be able to do much. I know they aren't. Like, what if they go to the higher-ups and make demands and refuse to help unless their demands are met? Which, if any of that is recorded and leaked, that could make the Heroes Association look bad. Yeah, if they go... Because if McCoy is recording everything, if those groups of heroes try to demand that their names be changed in order for the execs to be saved, it will look bad on the heroes because it makes it seem like the heroes are actually working on commission or will not help other people unless their demands are met. So that could wind up making the Heroes Association itself actually look bad because of that. But it remains to be seen if such a thing will happen, which is why I go back to, we either cut to the heroes making their way to the Heroes Association with Saitama in tow, or we cut away from them and go to someone else. We'll have to wait, though, because you never know when these chapters are going to drop on a Wednesday. Sometimes we get, like the last time we got multiple chapters was literally last month, and we had 3. And that's the most we've had in a very long time. So, we'll see if next week we get another chapter, or if we skip it and go to the 27th and get a chapter, or if this is the only chapter we're going to get this month. Overall, I greatly enjoyed this chapter because I'm big on aesthetics. I like stuff that looks nice, and visually, it's from anime to manga, and this was a particularly visually appealing chapter for One Punch Man. And that's all I gotta say about it before I start talking about art again. Overall, I enjoyed myself. So to everyone, all I can say to you is, hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. Like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Even check out my membership or Patreon, because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. And because I know you're coming back anyway. Have a fantastic day, and once again, as always, later, peoples!